This story is from Yamaguchi Prefecture, Japan. Once upon a time, there was a man named Houichi who lived in a temple called Amadaji. Houichi was blind but incredibly skilled at playing the biwa, a traditional Japanese lute. His most famous performance was the depiction of the final battle of the Heike clan at Dan no Ura. The epic tale portrayed the downfall of the Genji clan, with women and children sinking into the sea without a trace. Houichi's biwa playing was so poignant that it could make people shed tears without even realizing it. One summer night, when everyone had left the temple, Houichi remained alone. It's unusually hot tonight. Time passed, and suddenly footsteps could be heard coming from the back gate. Then, Houichi. It was not the voice of the temple's inhabitants. Houichi. Yes, who might you be? I am blind and cannot see. I am a messenger of a noble person. My master wishes to hear your biwa playing and storytelling, particularly the story of the battle at Dan no Ura. Come, I shall guide you to the mansion. Alright, we have brought Houichi. As the man shouted, whispers and rustling sounds could be heard all around. Then, from a distance, an elderly woman's voice spoke. Houichi, please. Share the tale of Dan no Ura with us. It is the most pitiful part. Understood. Both the Genji and Heike forces set sail. Meeting at Dan no Ura. Houichi skillfully used the biwa's tones to create various sounds. The sound of the Heike's ships advancing through the sea, arrows flying through the air, the battle cries of warriors, and the sound of bodies falling into the water. How marvelous! There is no other performer as talented as you in the entire country. The story progressed, and as it approached the scene where the mother of the Heike clan took her own life, everyone burst into tears simultaneously. Houichi, your biwa playing is magnificent. My master is immensely pleased. For the next 6 days, come here every evening and entertain us. In return, we will reward you as you wish. However, you must not speak of this to anyone. Yes, it was already close to dawn when Houichi returned to the temple. Houichi, what were you doing until this hour? I apologize. Houichi didn't reveal anything to Osho. She suspected that something unfortunate might have happened to him. She instructed the men of the temple to keep an eye on Houichi. That night, in the rain, Houichi left the temple. The men quickly followed but lost sight of him. As they passed by the graveyard, they found Houichi. He stood alone in front of a tombstone, completely drenched, and mimicking scenes from the battle at Dan no Ura. Houichi-san. The men forcibly took Houichi back to the temple. Osho listened to Houichi's story in its entirety. Houichi, your life is in danger if this continues. However, I must go out tonight. Before that, let me write sutras on your body. The sutras should protect you. Kanji Zai Bosatsu Gyojin Han Nya Haramida. Sutras were densely written all over Houichi's body. Even if someone calls your name, you must not respond. You must not move. If you make any sound or even the slightest movement, you will be in grave danger. Houichi remained motionless, enduring the excruciating pain that made him feel as if something warm and sticky was flowing down his head. How much time had passed? Clatter, clatter, clatter. The footsteps stopped right in front of Houichi. Houichi, Houichi. The biwa is here, but Houichi is not. Where on earth could he be? Oh, could this be Houichi's ear? Then let's take this ear as proof and return. In that moment, just before they could reach him, ripping sounds. Houichi endured the searing pain that seemed to distance him from his own consciousness, yet he didn't utter a sound. Houichi felt something warm and sticky flowing down his head. Before dawn, Osho returned. Why you? What happened to your ears? Osho was astonished. Ah, Houichi, I forgot to write sutras on your ears. I've done you wrong. We must quickly find a good doctor to treat your wounds. This mysterious incident spread far and wide, and people constantly flocked to the temple to hear Houichi's biwa playing. Eventually, he became known as Mimi-nashi Houichi, meaning Houichi without ears.